everybody. Good morning where I am, probably morning where each one of you is right now. My name is Stephen Passasil. I'm the VP People for Top Left, and I get to be your host today. And I'm just really excited for a couple of reasons. One, we're in a meeting together, and I don't know how you all feel about meetings or conferences like this, but I get really jazzed even if they're online. And so I'm just really looking forward to a day of connecting and getting to know some new people and sharing some really cool information. There's just going to be a ton of stuff going on today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us, to talk about a topic that's really important to us and really near and dear to our hearts, which is the whole idea of Agile and focusing on Agile with the kind of the end goal of growing our MSPs and dialing in our people and the things that we probably together think about a lot in our various roles. And so in a minute, I'm going to just kind of go through the agenda for the day and give you all a chance to maybe chime in a little bit and give us some insight on who you are and where you are at. But yeah, so this is kind of going to be the flow of this intro part. The first speaker is going to come on in probably the next 15, 20, 25 minutes, but there are some kind of business type things that I want to make sure that we go through just to make sure we're on the same page and set up to win for the day. So I'm just going to kind of get everybody to chime in a little bit with 3 questions. I'm going to get your name. I'm going to ask you to tell us where you're from, and then I'm going to get you to think about one word to describe what you're looking forward to this summer. So I'll get back to that in a minute, but I wanted to tease that so you can start thinking about what you're going to say. I'm going to just talk a little bit about why an Agile MSP Bootcamp. This is the first one that we're doing. And so obviously there's kind of a vision behind it. And so I'm really excited to share a little bit about why. And I'm also going to introduce you to Wim, who's our CEO, and he's going to give a little bit of his passion and background behind this as well. And then we're also excited to probably saw in the literature leading up to the event. One of the things that we've done is we've gotten to know an organization called Charity Water, and they're a nonprofit organization that we're partnering with in conjunction with this event. So I'll share a little bit more about that organization and how we're contributing to them as part of this event. And then I'll talk about the schedule and the flow for today. So throw 3 things into the chat. What's your name? Where are you from? And if you could maybe put in there one word to describe what you're looking forward to in your role this summer. I don't know if you have different routines in the summer. Maybe summer is kind of a planning mode for you, depending on your quarterly rhythm. But what's one word to describe what you're looking forward to in your role this summer? So put those 3 things in the chat, and we'd love to hear from you. Yeah, awesome, guys. Jordan, welcome from Indianapolis. Looking forward to connection. Yeah, me too. Fred from Indianapolis, building processes and SOPs. That's probably familiar to everyone here. Kevin, relaxation. I hear you, man. Shane from Charlotte, welcome. Looking forward to calm. Let me know how that turns out for you, and maybe you can share some insights into how you achieve that. That would be amazing. Wim, our CEO, connection and a little bit of vacation. Mike, looking forward to growth. Ron from Indiana, warm weather. Evan, outdoors. Shantae from New York City, welcome Shantae. One word, knowledge. All right. And Guy from Michigan, Guy, welcome. First vacation in 10 years. Congratulations. Oh man, I hope that's not a vacation of burnout and all of a sudden realizing that time is fleeting, but hope that goes well. And then Jason from Detroit, welcome. Increasing efficiencies. Wow, a lot of really good things there. If you didn't get a chance to throw anything in there, that's okay. Just really, again, really glad that you're here. And it's amazing to me, well, maybe it's not amazing, but how interesting is it that a lot of us put in there things like connection and relaxation and calm and things like that. And so we do get caught up, don't we, in our plans and in making sure that as leaders in our MSPs, we're getting all the things done. But it is a good reminder for us to make sure that we are taking time to relax, to recharge, to re-energize, and all of those types of things. And so I appreciate those reminders. And that is part of Agile too. It's making sure that we're paying attention to our people and ourselves for sure as leaders. I'm just going to look off to the side here. I need to make sure that I get my people screen back up. And now I'm really paranoid that I'm going to be checking every 30 seconds to make sure that I'm not muted. There we go. Okay. So let's get into this question. Why the Agile MSP Bootcamp? I'm going to bring Wim, our CEO, on a minute just to share some of his thoughts, but I don't want to steal your thunder, Wim, but one of the things that is true is we've been talking about doing something like this for probably, I don't know, a year and a half to 2 years. And it's really out of Wim's vision to really empower other MSPs, including our own MSP, to just be in a place where we're achieving growth, but healthy growth. And we've really been in the Agile ecosystem now for well over 2 years and really kind of learning and gaining more insight into what that means. And so we wanted a place to connect with other MSP leaders like yourselves to have a discussion around what is Agile, how can we kind of embrace those principles, because we've really, in our journey toward getting more agile, we've seen some significant change. And so I'm really pleased to introduce to you Wim Kerkhoff, our CEO. And Wim, why don't you just kind of share a bit of your story and also kind of your vision for this event here?
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, so a big welcome to everyone. I'm glad to have you all here. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of years. I think like kind of pre-COVID, I was planning like a local event, maybe Eastern US, and of course that couldn't happen. So this has been a dream for a bit to make this happen. So just thankful for everyone's time and money to be here, even with awkward time zones and summer vacations, all those things. So yeah, just a bit of history. The seeds for this probably started 20 years ago when I was a junior developer at a software startup here in my hometown in those early Agile days. So Agile software development. So think extreme programming, pair programming, that kind of thing. I was reading the books. There's this like C2 wiki, different things, learning about huddles. But junior developer didn't have a whole lot of influence in that organization. They ran out of money. They disappeared a long time ago, like 20 years ago. And then fast forward about 10, 12 years ago, I had my own software startup called Multiplied. And that was going. My first full-time developer on that was actually Matt Fox, who most of you, I think all of you know. And we grew the team. It was like just best effort, work on the ticket, improve the code, do stuff. And then we realized we needed, it was kind of chaotic. So we added Scrum as a software development method, and that worked great. It was flowing well, no stress, no drama. We grew the team. We had 4 or 5 people in there going great. And then fast forward a few years, I had backed off of that and focusing on the MSP side, which I had in parallel to the software company Multiplied. But in the MSP side, it was chaos, like lots of tickets, stuff falling between cracks, neglected work, clients dropping off because we weren't getting the projects done, team stressed out. And I'm like, how do I replicate what's going on in the Matt and his dev team in the MSP? So I'm like, well, the time box Scrum 2 weeks is not going to work for Mary's printer ticket issue. So I'm like, okay, let's look at Kanban and visualizing it. And that's where we got started. The first proof of concept was an Excel file, like how all these things start. And then we wrote some Python code, which is long gone. I got to dig up that screenshot later, maybe, and share that. I still like it, but the team thinks it's hideous. So we've moved past that design and saw results from that. And I realized very early on, I'm like, this will benefit other MSPs because nobody's doing this. It's these traditional methods coming from PSAs, which are mostly about keeping the accountants happy and database design and lots of fields and such. So early on, I realized we got to productize this. And then, so as in this journey, as I started pre-selling it and getting a beta out on what we called CW Kanban before it became top left, is kind of got into more of the lean. Like people introduced me to, or some other MSPs introduced me to the Phoenix project. You see that on this side here. Got the book cover on the wall. Big fan of that book and digging more into lean. And really that's all about flow and people. If we can get the flow of the work in organization, that work going smoothly and the steps and documentation there and elevating our people, our frontline people, so like our technicians, the managers, the engineers to improve that flow. It's a burden off my back to fix all the issues. And it's a better place to be, to work. And then along the way, I got into exploring burnout. First, I had mental health, depression, anxiety. I'm like, that's other companies. That's not us. We're fine. And then I realized, you know what? People in my own team are struggling with it. that, hey, they're showing up, but they're talking about, hey, they're on meds and time off and stressed out. And like, this is real. And then it hit me about 2 years ago. I was burnt out, couldn't work, couldn't be in meetings, fall apart. So I'm like, this is a real thing. And the stats are pretty crazy. Like in the tech industries, not just MSP, but tech overall, tech workers report 57% experience with burnout, which is crazy high. And then you have attrition in this industry is at least 22% was the stat I was given a year or two ago. I think that's gone up with the whole great resignation and everything going on now, COVID. It's 25% churn every year in our team. And then a stat I saw this week from Gartner is that only 20% of tech workers are saying, I love it here and I'm going to stay and no recruiter is going to take me away. And that's really shocking. So I'm just thinking about that middle 60 to 80%. They haven't moved yet. They don't love it here, but they're working and showing up. They're not running at 100%. So how do we improve their mental health, their performance so that they're happy here? We have the company performance. We can pay them well so they're not going to be picked off by recruiters because there's a big cost to replace. That's one of the calculators we run is if Joe, Sally, Jim, Harry, whoever leaves, what does it cost to replace them with? We're losing their productivity. We got to hire recruiters for training, onboarding, morale hit, whatever it is. It can be $50,000, $100,000. So we got to take care of our people. And many MSPs struggle with profit and growth. I know I've talked to hundreds of MSPs and been in peer groups and with different things in industry, and many do getting from, like they're paying themselves, hopefully, some aren't. I was in a position I wasn't, I would move past that, but they're sitting in this 5 to 10% net profit and they're so busy, they can't grow their leadership skills, their sales, their marketing. And some are, hey, they're comfortable, but more is possible. They should be getting to this world-class net profit. So, and that comes through our people in the process. So today you'll hear from 2 clients that had a major transformation by implementing the methods behind what we're doing with Kanban. It's not just a tool. I think the tool is like maybe 5% of success. It's a commitment to the principles and the methods, which have been around for longer than I have been. They've been around for 50, 60 years. So you hear about that, those methods. And that's really the number one reason this bootcamp is to not talk about the product and just another dashboard, but what's the leadership, the methods, how do we think about these things to elevate our people in the flow? So yeah, we're here at top left, we're just getting started. We've got a lot planned with the products, partnerships, training, helping you get more results. And with the product roadmap, you'll hear from Matt later, but not just about visualizing with a Kanban, like the Trello board type of thing, but moving into other things like calendars, Gantt charts, all of that, just things that project managers and people like you have been asking for. And we're learning along the way. I don't have it all figured out. We don't have it all figured out. So I'm participating in every session today, taking notes, and be working with my team to implement in the future. So I guess before I just pass this back to Steve, my goal is in a couple of years, we could move this from a virtual event to an in-person conference. So maybe get 200 people in an actual room. So that's the plan for this. A bigger yearly event and quarterly events, perhaps some regional things to pick up our friends in Australia and Europe. So we'll see where that goes. That's all I had on my heart to share there. So I'll pass that back to you, Steve.
Yeah, amazing, Wim. Thank you very much for that. I'd be really curious as we kind of build toward our first speaker and then the rest of the day. It's really important for us that everyone kind of understands the why behind this, because maybe you're here for a bunch of different reasons and you have some different expectations. We tried to be clear in terms of what the takeaways are going to be for today, but I wonder if based on what you heard from Wim now, you heard a lot of different things, but I really would love to know what resonates with you in terms of this whole idea of an agile approach, because you heard a lot about flow and workflow and things like that, but you also heard a lot about the people side, the softer side, mental health, burnout, and those types of things. I'm really interested to keep tracking with each one of you about, what you're thinking, what your expectations are. You already told us, and I'm grateful, what your expectations and hopes are for the summer. But when it comes to this event, what is it that you're kind of really wanting to take away? If you could maybe in one word or a couple of words, just throw it in the chat and let's get a feel for why we're here. And maybe we can track that throughout the day. So what are you thinking? What are you hoping? What are you dreaming about? What are you expecting from the day? Continued improvement. Yep. Control, build a process. Larry, what people are doing to lessen the stress. Shantae, more organization and efficiency. for projects. Yeah. Shane, changed mindset, better process management from Evan. Wes, flow for project management between team leads to engineers. That's amazing. Wes, thank you. That's a big one. Fred, regain control. Learn how to start to implement these processes. Yeah. Healthy growth. Yep. Bill, better processes. Sarah, information on avoiding burnout and help lessen the stress. Increase throughput. So we got a group there. Yeah, Michael, increase throughput. Jason, increase throughput. Guy, better flow. Yeah, amazing. Thanks, everybody. Oh, so Mike, yeah, supporting changing environments and scenarios. Yeah, thanks everybody for chiming in. Really, really appreciate that. And so a bunch of different expectations, and we really want to touch on some of the main themes that you've already brought out. But yeah, we really hope that you walk away with a better understanding of what Agile is and how you can begin to implement some of these principles, not just with your workflow, but also with your people. So it sounds like we're all on the same page, and look forward to hearing kind of your feedback at the end if some of these expectations were met. Okay, let's carry on. And I want to give a quick shout out to Charity Water. And I'm going to show like a 1-minute video in case you're not familiar with the organization. They've got some really exciting things going on, but this is just a 1-minute video that explains who they are and what they're about in the world. So take a listen to this.
No one, no man, no woman, no child should ever have to drink green water with bugs, with algae, with disease in it. Bad water and a lack of toilets kills more people than all the wars in the world. We know how to bring clean drinking water right now to every single person on earth. And when you can bring water into communities, it truly transforms them. It changes everything. Right? You could know that you'd made a difference. You could know that you had truly impacted the life of a family, of a community, of a region. There was either clean water or there wasn't. We believe in a world where every single person has clean and safe water to drink, and we will continue fighting until that happens.
So I know that was a very quick video, but hopefully that gives you a bit of a snapshot of at least kind of the why behind what they're doing. And so if you want to learn more about them, I encourage you to visit charitywater.org. They've got a lot of really good information about the projects they're involved in and leading all over the world in terms of giving clean water to those that don't have it. So what we've determined is that we're gonna fire away to them 10% of the revenue that we gain from this event. And so 10% of what you contributed by way of the fee is going to go to Charity Water, and that's probably going to be between $600 to $1,000. And so really excited to be providing this as a service. And again, hopefully we can grow this partnership in the future as this event grows. So just wanted to say thank you for that, because it's not just about looking at ourselves and growing our businesses and making sure we're taking care of the daily, but it's also about the bigger picture in the world and the difference that we can make with others. Okay. So the schedule and the flow for the day, this is just a simple screenshot of what you've already seen on the website. And if you would rather track on the website, there's the link again. But what we're trying to do today is really tell a story of Agile. And so our first speaker, Melvin, who has joined us already. Hi, Melvin, great to see you. We'll give you the floor in just a minute here. But we're going to start with kind of a general overview of what Agile is, in case there's some of us that don't necessarily understand the key concepts. And then we're gonna get a little bit more specific as the day goes on. And so we're gonna have a story about how one MSP is implementing Agile, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more in detail about how Agile applies specifically to service management, project management, workflow. And then we also are going to have a focused time on talking about the people side and the importance of leading well. So that's the flow for today. So just so you know, from a kind of a business perspective, each presentation is going to be about 45 minutes. We will have a Q&A time at the end. And so If you have questions that come up throughout each presentation, if you just go ahead and throw those in the chat, we'll be monitoring those, and then I'll be curating those in the Q&A time. There might be an opportunity. Some of the speakers are really comfortable with being interrupted, so we might just kind of have that flow going. But as you do have questions, throw them in the chat, and we'll make sure that those get addressed. If there's not time for those to be addressed, we will make sure that you get a connection with the speaker to make sure that those questions that you have are answered if we don't have time at the end of the session. Each session will be recorded, just so you know, and it'll all be one long recording of the day, and then we'll break them up at the end. But we do want to be able to provide these recorded sessions later on. So just so you know, they will be recorded. I already mentioned about questions in the chat. And at the end, there's going to be an opportunity for some networking. So maybe you've met someone for the first time today, or you see a name that you're intrigued and you want to maybe connect, or maybe you have questions and you want to unpack some of these things a little bit more. At the end, there's going to be an opportunity for you to get in the same room together and ask some questions, share some experiences, some wisdom, some resources. That's totally optional. There's no obligation to do that, but we wanted to provide that space. So there will be that at the end. And then we do want to share an opportunity for you to get involved more in what we're doing at Top Left. And so stick around, and there's going to be an opportunity or two, or maybe even three, for you to do that. So that'll be at the end. The way that I've structured the agenda is we're not going to necessarily take like an actual hour for lunch, like we might see at some in-person conferences. We're just going to kind of keep going with the schedule. There are 2 shorter breaks that are part of the day, but feel free to kind of get up and stretch and get some coffee, grab a bite to eat, and then come back and take in the session. But if you need to leave, or like leave the meeting actually for any reason, and if you have trouble getting back into the room, we have Plaquila, who is one of our co-hosts, and she'll be able to help you out with any kind of technical difficulty. And so you can see her email right there. So feel free to just kind of jot that down. And if you do have any technical questions, feel free to reach out to her. Okay,